Happiness is your nature. It's not wrong to desire it. What is wrong is seeking it outside when it is inside. A quote by Ramana Maharishi, who was one of India's most revered spiritual masters. He taught the path of self inquiry, asking, "Who am I?" as the direct way to realize the self. Living at Arunachala in Tiruvannamalai, Tamil Nadu, India, his life of simplicity, silence, and compassion continues to inspire spiritual seekers worldwide. Hello, my name is Malati, and I'm so happy to welcome you to the Impressive Empress podcast, where we explore the journeys of extraordinary women who inspire with power, purpose, and presence. Before we dive in, make sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoy our conversations, leaving a rating or a review helps us reach more inspiring women like you. In today's episode, we are joined by Dr. Kalika Uttarkar, a visionary leader whose life beautifully integrates philosophy, psychology, yoga, and Hindu parenting. From being a two-time university topper, gold medalist actually, to building institutions like the Purna Jagrati Institute and inspiring thousands through her YouTube channel, Dr. Kalika's story is a masterclass in adaptability, strategic thinking, and women's leadership. We'll dive into her journey of self transformation, balancing womanhood with leadership, and bringing ancient wisdom into modern life. She'll share insights on midlife crisis as turning points, practical tips from the Indic scriptures for positive transformation, and the secret to sustaining her inner fire of leadership. And here's the part you don't want to miss. Stay with us till the end because Kalika is going to reveal the timeless teaching she wishes every woman leader could carry in her heart. Plus, her vision for the future that will inspire you to craft your own legacy. So, join me in welcoming Dr. Kalika Uttarkar to today's episode. Namaskaram, Dr. Kalika. A very, very warm welcome to the Impressive Empress podcast. I've been talking to some amazing Indian women leaders across the globe, trying to understand what makes them the exceptional leader that they are and impacting the society in a very positive way. And I'm all eager to have you on our show.
Thank you. Thank you, Maltiji. It's my honor. And I'm excited to share my experiences and talk with you. So, yeah, let us have a free flowing discussion and a chat, as we can say.
Okay. Yes. So I would like to really start from the very beginning. I've read through your profile, and what I find really fascinating about your journey is how you showed very early on in your life a focus and determination. You were at a university and you taught not just once, but twice. And that kind of consistency doesn't happen by choice. By chance. So let's start right there. So, if you have to look back at those student days, what was driving you towards achievement? Was it your parents, your teachers, or you had a definite goal? Or was it just that unstoppable curiosity on philosophy, especially the Hindu philosophy?
Well, I think to talk about that, we would have to go back to my childhood days. I come from a family where my mother is an Ayurvedic doctor, and my father, he is a spiritual guru, and he's always been into organic agriculture, farming. So, agriculture, nature, Ayurveda, this has been part of my growing process. And I have seen my parents living the life which was enriching from within. So in my school days, I had an option. Like initially, I was so I would say mesmerized by my what my mom was doing. Like we used to stay outside the city in the small town near the village in the farm. So we had couple of houses we changed actually number of houses that we changed and places. But I often saw my mom. She was into seva, rather than being a doctor who is earning a lot, she was more into social work and working for the people, and all that really made a mark on me. And I always wanted to be a doctor, medical practitioner. But eventually, saw that my father, I think I started understanding him better as I was growing. And then I saw that philosophy is something which is more exciting. And in my 10th grade, I decided that now I'm not going to go to the science faculty as back in India it is said. I decided I would do my PhD in philosophy. So that was decided in my 10th grade itself because my ninth standard vacation was full of reading books. I was almost into our town library from morning till evening. I voraciously read different books and stories and history and our heroes and I mean all that aspect of civilization which really inspired me. And of course, my father, who's also my spiritual guru, also was he's very inspiring. And my mom, she's a practical application of spirituality. So that was also inspiring. And I thought that why not study this? And then I chose to take philosophy in my throughout my education journey, and I'm happy about it even today. That was a good decision I made. It has kept me growing from within because I thought if I become a doctor and get busy with my practice, somehow I'll miss out on learning philosophy, reading Upanishads, and all that. Will I find time? And some more, I thought I'm a little bit a lazy person that, if I get into my career, then how will I find time to study all this? So why not get into that? So eventually I'll keep learning. So learning, teaching, learning, that's an ongoing process. So I feel that has helped me a lot. Yeah.
I mean, that has really helped, I think, the society at large, that you took up philosophy and then you later on studied the modern education also in terms of psychology, parenting, Hindu parenting, and all of this. But when we hear words like Upanishads or darshanas or maybe even shastras, many imagine that they are very abstract or too distant from daily struggles.
Uh-huh.
Can you share one story where you have seen these teachings touch or transform someone in a very practical way?
Oh, there are many stories because I've seen people coming to my father initially as when I was a child and used to conduct workshops. I used to assist him, so I was his first assistant. And so many children, people, families I have seen getting into this and getting inspired. And later on, as even when I started, so I always have seen that the spirituality or philosophical aspect has to have a behavioral implication. So, without bringing this philosophy or spirituality into our behavior, it doesn't make that impact. It just becomes a scholarly endeavor, an armchair thinking, like the jewels that we keep in the bank locker, which are never used or very rarely used. But we boast about it, saying, I have this, I have that, I have that. So, our civilizational issue is also similar. We say that we have great philosophy, we have Upanishads, we have Veds. But when it comes to our individual and societal behavior, um, there is a gap. I think we need to bridge between our wisdom and our behavior as individuals, as a society, as citizens of the nation and the world. So there's so much of work to be done, and I feel the middle period of maybe 1,000 years when we were invaded by many of the invaders and the colonization and the uprootment of the economic, social, and educational systems. And now, even it is hurting our familial systems. With these changes, yeah. So, I think with all these patterns are being dismantled, they are getting affected. I think the main concern has always been that we have to connect our internal growth, our behavior with the wisdom that we have. So I think that was the reason the topic of my thesis was also philosophy of life with reference to major 11 Upanishads. So whatever I learned from the Upanishads, I should see how relevant it is today. See, knowledge is always relevant, but as the time and the society changes, it's our duty that we make it relevant to our behavior and the changing circumstances. And then I think it is not that abstract. Once it is connected with us and our life, it is never. I can tell you one story, like this is a personal story. I often share this actually. People ask me, how do we teach the concept of Brahman to the young children? I tell them we can teach them at a very young age of maybe 2.5, 3 years also. So they are surprised. How can you do that? So I always recollect this incident, and this has really inspired me. So when I was that young, we used to stay in a outside a village because it was a farm stay, and we had a small mountain behind our fields. So on the weekends, my father used to hold me on his shoulder, and he used to take me on the mountain. Sometimes I used to insist on running along with him, and then once we used to reach the top of the mountain, we would just sleep on our back and look at the sky. So this usually has used to be in the early mornings or the late evenings. And the sky used to look beautiful, amazing. So whenever I used to look up, he used to ask me, what are you seeing? I used to say, sky. How is it? What is the shape of the sky? I used to say, there is no shape. It's just all over. He said, then that is reality. And see if you can find that sky within you. Close your eyes. I used to close my eyes. Now don't do anything. Just experience the sky within you. So that is how I learned meditation. That is how he initiated me into yoga. And I feel this was a game for me. It was just a play. But I used to look forward for the weekends when we both used to go like that. And then, this being with our parents and then getting introduced to these concepts, it was a natural parenting style, I would say. And our wisdom is so fluid in this way that it just needs a perspective. The moment we get that perspective, it starts flowing into our life. So I feel then it doesn't remain that abstract. It becomes something like our breath, in and out we breathe, and it is so natural. Similarly, when this perspective is within us, we start looking at the world, looking at ourselves, people, relations from a divine perspective. And then it becomes an absolute happy journey.
That is so beautiful when you mention that the sky and it's also very beautiful for a little child to imagine all of that and amazing example that you have shared. In your courses and workshops also, you often integrate the teachings from the scriptures, especially the Bhagavad Gita. What is one lesson that that would be useful for families, especially that the parents or the grandparents can take and imbibe that in the next generation of kids in this very digitally distracted world and where we have a lot of pressure.
So, when it comes to parenting, people often, after the workshops, after the lectures, parents often come up with a very common question. So, my children don't listen to me. And especially the teenagers, there is a big charge list for the teenagers. Okay. So they don't do this. They don't listen to me. They don't talk. They stay closed in their rooms. They don't open their doors. So, and I want them to make better choices. I want them to not do these things. So many things are there. So I feel that all these things can be of less pressure if we can develop one thing in them, and that is called as Vivek. And this is what we learn from Bhagavad Gita as to what we should choose and what we should not choose. So then what are the parameters of that? So Bhagavad Gita tells us to do our duty, dharma, practice dharma, understand swadharma. These are the concepts that Bhagavad Gita tells us. A very beautiful concept which comes on the similar lines but which is prior to Bhagavad Gita, which comes in Kathopanishad, where Yama, the lord of death, is teaching Nachiketa, a 8-year-old boy. And he is telling that if you can understand the difference between what is Shreyas and what is Preyas, then you know what to choose and what not to choose. So the next question is, what is Shreyas? Shreyas is that which takes you to reality, takes you towards truth. And prayers is that what appears to be pleasant, but antato gatva, that is at the end of it, it can create dukkha or it can create agony, distress. So that which is permanent and that which is changing, we need to make a distinction. So when we talk about viveka, it is sat sat viveka buddhi. So we need to distinguish between sat and asat, that what is true and that what is not true. So in a way, it is understand that what is constant and understand that what is temporary. So the moment we get this tool from Upanishads, and when if we can convey this through the medium of stories and incidents and activities, then see, I'll give you another example. Is substance abuse is a common issue coming up with the teenagers now. So why should we not consume alcohol? A simple question. However trendy it may appear, and however cool people may think about it, from the spiritual perspective and from the yogic perspective, it's not something to be consumed. Now, why? The children will ask why? Because it is so normalized in the society and so, it's so casual. Even if you say it's wrong, people will say, oh, they are so orthodox. Why are they saying that it is not right? But let us be a little more scientific, little more logical, and just understand that what makes me doesn't keep me in my control. I don't need it. That what is making me dependent, I don't need it. It could be substance, it could be relationship, it could be music, it could be dance, it could be parties, it could be dating, it could be anything. That which is taking me away from my independence, in the sense my control over myself, my awareness about myself, then I don't need it. It is not required. It is making me paravalambi, as we say. I shouldn't be dependent. I should be independent, in the sense I should be self sufficient. I think self sufficiency is the best word. So if I can stay awake and study without tea or coffee, isn't that a better situation rather than having 20 cups of coffee because I have an exam tomorrow? So here comes that element of dependency. And to realize one's power, as I feel, is the real crux of life. As to that power lies within me, that intelligence and awareness lies within me. So that is my long term goal, which can be broken into short term goals. So whatever I am doing, if I can see if that aligns with my long term goal, I can choose to do that. So for children, parents and grandparents, I would say that talk with them, have discussions, keep upgrading ourselves, keep getting knowledge. So I feel in parenting, the important aspect is about inspiring, and only knowledge can inspire. So if we keep getting knowledge and share knowledge without having that dissonance with behavior, otherwise, then if children are the first one who will sense hypocrisy. So we need to have that connection with our behavior. So lead by example in simple language, as we say. So if we keep inspiring ourselves, we inspire others, and then they also learn. So then by the time they are in their teenage, it's almost a done project. So we don't have to keep doing that project for 40 years, 30 years. I think first 10, 15 years is enough for a child to develop vivek. And then it is practice.
Yeah. Yeah, catch them young is what
Yes.
normally people say. Uh, Sometimes people miss the bus. That's when they come to take some courses or workshops from people like you. And preparing a course or workshop for such a diverse audience. It's not just the teenagers or the young people. It's also parents. Like you mentioned, it's a lifelong learning. One has to come. So, how do you prepare courses or workshops for that matter for such a diverse people? I mean, you've also done corporate workshops. So, take us behind the scenes and tell me, what do you do? How do you prepare with the different audience in mind, and how do you deliver it with confidence?
Okay, so anything that we are doing about ourselves, we are very much interested. We are not distracted, and we love doing it, isn't it? So, what is most closest thing to my heart is my happiness and my sorrow. So, when we are targeting a particular age group, we need to understand what is it that is very much close to them, what hurts them, and what inspires them. So, then we get to the point where we understand what are their problems and what solutions they are seeking. Based on that, we can design the whole workshop. Because in that case, we are actually delivering what they need. So they have a sure shot takeaway from the workshop. It's not just like they came here, they sat, oh wow, the trainer was good. She spoke well, it was nice time, and tata bye bye. No, it wasn't like that. They need to take something back. So unless and they need to stay engaged. So if it is about their issues, their problems, they will stay engaged. They will participate and they will want to take out of you. So that is a beautiful process. Sarvopnishado gao dogdha gopalanandana. Partho vatsa sudhir bhokta. So Arjun was the one who was taking the milk which Krishna had derived from Upanishads. It is a joint, it's a beautiful journey, co-journey, I would say, where the listener and the speaker, the workshop taker and the participants, they learn together. But then that commonness is about the problems of that age group or of that situation. If it is the office setup, they have certain issues in the office, in the corporate. And then if they are children, they have their own issues. If it is small children, primary school, they also have their problems. And sometimes it is the old age people, like how do we age gracefully? What does Hinduism talk about? Aging is not a problem, but it's an opportunity. How we can use that time, so even they have their issues. So holding on to that issues, if we can bring in philosophy, because ultimately the whole pursuit of philosophy begins when I have sorrow. Otherwise, why do we need it? If I'm happy and I'm fantastically satisfied, I would not go to listen to philosophy. But when I see those inconsistencies, when I see that things are not right, when I feel that something is not just, I am getting what I don't deserve, then that agony is there, that frustration is there. Then we think, is this the reality or is there any reality beyond that? So that whole journey begins there. So we need to address the problem of that particular group and then it becomes easy.
You also have this knack of providing such knowledge or wisdom in capsules in your YouTube channel. So, is there a strategy that's something different that you do to your in-person workshops, or can you talk about what you do on your YouTube channels and what do you aim to achieve through your YouTube channel?
So YouTube channel is about creating curiosity, creating awareness and inspiring people to know more about the subject. So YouTube channel is different from that perspective, but I want them to get inspired to read more books, to know more about the subject, to go and attend workshops, to take courses. Now that I'm also a part of Hindu University of America, we provide a huge number of courses with different subjects. So when we take workshops, then we can say, okay, there is a resource, there is a place where you can go and learn. But initially, we need to create that need in the mind of the people and society. Typically, it is not like food. Everybody gets hungry at a particular time every day. But this hunger for intellectual and spiritual nourishment is a rare thing. And therefore, we need to create that hunger in minds of more and more people. So that is the purpose of YouTube. That is my purpose of engaging with people on various platforms, is that create this hunger. So the whole society and the individual comes in this mode of growth mindset. So, very beautifully it is said in Upanishads is Asatoma Satgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrutyurma Amrutam Gamaya. So let us go from ignorance to knowledge, from darkness to light, from mortality to immortality. So this is the larger goal, I feel. This is very scientific, very logical, and very practical. And just when people don't understand it, they feel it is jargonized or it is abstract. But it's like, when we learn swimming, initially we feel that, oh, I mean, this is how will I float on water? But the moment we learn, we enjoy it. That's the most relaxing experience, isn't it? So it's like that. So, I had this amazing experience of scuba diving. And so, what I found was, as we go deeper into the water, you can meditate very well. Amazing spot for meditation. And that was an amazing experience. So, see, every moment in life, we learn something. It's a growth. So, if we are growing at every moment, in every incident, in every relationship, we never come across losses. No loss in life. It's all gain. We gain through our tears, we gain through our frustrations, we gain through our depressions, we gain through our fights. As a woman, we play so many roles, isn't it? And we
Yeah.
all manage relationships, we manage people, we inspire the new generation to grow. So if we are the learning person, I mean, person with a learning mindset, why this has happened, what is something which I can learn from this? I think it's all joy. Yeah.
That resonates very well with my thought process also, that life throws a lot of challenges. Some of
Yes.
them are good, some of them are not so good, but there's always a lesson to be learned through that. So that's a beautiful way when you mentioned the scuba diving and the chance to do meditation. I don't think anyone would have thought of doing such a thing. But this
Yeah.
also brings me to the next question of personal transformation for you. Like you moved as a woman academic, as a counselor, as a leader, you've had to move across cities and not just across cities, but across continents also. You're from India to the US. So a lot of cultural and professional differences. But you seem to carry this very calm fire within you, consistent, steady, but full of passion. What's the secret behind keeping this fire alive day after day, year after year? And what kind of practices or inner philosophies has helped you stay grounded in all these transitions?
I would again go back to the philosophical upbringing, I would say. So it is interesting. When I had to leave Bharat and come to US, it wasn't anywhere in my plan. It abruptly happened. So and I had my own world there back in Bangalore. I was doing counseling, I was training, I was teaching, taking workshops. Everything was going fine. And suddenly there was this change. So one thing my father told me, wherever you go, it's the same sun and the same moon. And then I said, yes. And then these two things are similar. One is happiness and one is sadness. That is also common to everybody. When these things are common, then all other things are not so big changes. So if we see the bigger picture, if we take a bird's eye view, when we think about reality from a broader perspective, then problems are not bigger than us. We are bigger than the problem. So, change and flexibility is always an opportunity to learn more. And secondly, I believe in this theory of karma, which comes into our philosophy, is that whatever I'm doing, it is for my spiritual growth. So, see, teaching Indian philosophy in Bharat was one experience of a kind. Learning, coming to US, understanding the problems here, empathizing with the people around, getting to know the real issues rather than being judgmental, rather than being this is right, this is wrong. I mean, not like that. Everybody is here to get happiness. Everybody wants to get away with their sadness. So let us understand the issue and see now this is an opportunity if this kind of philosophy also works there. This comes from my father's teaching where he used to tell me whenever you are in any adverse situation, see if your inner peace is with you. He even told me that when he practiced his meditation and tapasya, he had lived in Himalaya and various places, so he has his own history. So, with that background, I said, I am not a kind of a person who will go alone and stay in the Himalaya, but I am in this world doing all different kinds of roles. So, I even developed an habit that if I am very sad, if I am crying, I would ask myself, is that peace also there with me now? What happens is the moment you start finding that peace, we stop crying because we immediately go into that witness mode. And this is the switching of the gears. So if we learn to switch gears and come out of this emotionality to intellectuality, from intellectuality to spirituality, if we can switch the modes, then we don't get caught up into one mode. And it becomes easy to come out of our, because we all are human beings. We all have emotions. So we all have anger, frustration, sadness, depression. Nobody should claim that I'm away from this. We all are into it. But the act of getting out of it into a witness mode, getting that awareness, and then stopping wherever we are and making a shift, that is the technique. And this technique helps us. I mean, this is the philosophy. So, this develops that adaptability, flexibility, and more importantly, fearlessness. We don't have to fear anything. Take it with a stride as it is coming. Be adventurous. Take all experiences as it is coming. It's okay. Even if the question paper is hard, let us try to solve it. And in real life, there is no failure, it's only learning. So, why fear any exam? Why fear any question paper? It's fun.
Yeah. The way you, from the way you describe, it appears to be very like a lot of fun. Moving from being there in person to actually taking a step back and being the witness, it looks like it needs a lot of training.
Yeah.
How can one do that?
It's
How
an
did
on.
you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm still at a very great place. No, I'm still in the process. It's still a journey. It's always has to be like that. Very realistically, we all are in a journey, trying and getting to a state where we are comparatively more balanced than we were yesterday. It is just that. So I think this comes with practice. Sometimes we succeed, sometimes we don't succeed. So that is also natural. So let us not judge ourselves or others. But once we know the technique, once we know the philosophy, and if we can consistently stick to it, then it slowly builds that strength within us and that confidence which comes that I am eternal, and whatever I am doing are different roles that I am into. I don't have to identify myself with these roles as a woman, as a mother, as a daughter. These are roles that I'm playing. And these roles are given to me to learn that I am not just this role, but I'm beyond this. So this goes beyond our human existence. Leave aside genders and all those things. But and then that is something which is very peaceful, I feel. And it slowly and gradually, as it's like the pickle, how it becomes better and better as we keep it longer. Similarly, philosophy also penetrates sip by sip into us, and it starts building us. And most prominently, people talk a lot about resilience these days. And resilience appears to be a big word. And people say, I developed resilience and I'm this and that. Upanishadic philosophy just tells us one thing: happiness lies within. Stick to that. Don't depend on the fruits of the action for your happiness. Vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana says this. It is not that as if I have a control over the fruits, but Krishna is telling me don't have control or don't have expectations. It's not that. He is just telling the fact that even when Yadavas fought, even when Kauravas fought, Sri Krishna couldn't do anything. He just tried to tell them better things. But if they were not listening, even he couldn't do anything. I mean, that is what he told Arjuna. Even if you don't fight, they are going to die like this. If not you, they'll fight with somebody else. So it's that I am not here to change the world, maybe. At the most, what I can do is I can inspire myself, I can inspire others. So I think with all this, life becomes good. Yeah. It doesn't appear to be that difficult. in spite of all adversities. So even in my early days of life, economically, my family had a roller coaster ride. Things were not same always. Too many ups and downs because my parents were spiritual. They were more social work oriented. They were not into money making. They trusted people very quickly. So all these things could result in a situation and place where sometimes things were very good, sometimes not so good. So all those ups and downs also has created some resilience and take life seriously when it's about learning. But if it is not, other than, I mean, if it is just problems, then they come and go. That is something which I think I learned in the process. Problems do not stay for long. They come with an expiry date. So that's okay. If they're coming with an expiry date, then what stays is our divinity and our perception. That helps, I feel. If I've answered your question, or maybe I don't know, I digressed or what.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, it's a lifelong journey. It's a process that,
Mm.
but one has to be conscious of that. Somehow we see that. I mean, you very rightly mentioned that people start looking at philosophy only when they have problems in life. As long as everything is smoothly sailing and they are happy with the situation, nobody looks at philosophy. I think there's a very beautiful way of a wake up call for us when we hit the midlife. There's a beautiful term, life crisis.
Yes.
So that's when we start asking a whole lot of questions about our purpose. Why am I here? Who am I? When we feel stuck and where we are in this midlife crisis. According to our scriptures, according to the Vedic or the Upanishadic teachings, is there a correlation between different phases of our lives and the need for a self transformation? If so, how can one navigate such phases um, and achieve a positive transformation?
Mhm. Yeah. So, see, as you mentioned the scriptures, I would say that we have a beautiful concept of Purushartha. So, Sanatan Dharma talks about Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. These are the four Purusharthas, or I would say goals of human life. So, people think that initially it is only Dharma, then comes Artha. No, it all comes together. So, Moksha is the long lasting goal. Continuously, that is the, what you can say, the initial goal of our existence and of our life. What is that? It is understand ourselves, know yourself. That is moksha. So, knowing ourselves on the physical level, on the emotional level, intellectual level, understanding the dynamics of it, and then transcending each level and trying to go beyond that. So, a distinction between creation and the creator. So, if our emotions are our creations, thoughts are our creations, then who is the creator? So, try to find out, search that. So, that is all about moksha. Now, that doesn't begin after 70s when I no longer have energy to sit, when my joints are aching, when my back is paining. I cannot start meditation at that age. But as this is a long term goal, it needs to be started at a very early age. So that is one Purushartha which has to start at an early age. That is a wrong notion that it has to start after 70 or 75. Then what is important is Dharma. So Dharma is again morality, duty, righteousness. So this also has to start from childhood. But very importantly, Artha and Kama. These are such beautiful goals of human life that they design the way we are. That gives the shape of a personality. So depending upon our desires and aspirations, we create a personality of ours. And therefore we are different than each other. So everybody has different set of desires, different aspirations. So all that is giving us a form, a shape. That's also beautiful. So we have never celebrated poverty. Samruddhi, prosperity, Shritva is something which has been part of our life and it has to be self sufficient and to be able to help others. Prosperity is the most required thing. So, Artha is important and Kama, that is desires. So just navigate desires to the direction of being happy yourself and making others happy. The very beautiful concept of seva comes in. So, taking care of the older generation and inspiring the future generation, that gives it, that is about grihasthashram, that is about marriage. So, this concept of purushartha is very much aligned with the concept of ashram. So, brahmacharya ashram, grihasthashram, vanaprasthashram, and sannyasashram. These are again four stages of life. So, Brahmacharya ashram is the initial 25 years when I need to study, grow, and develop myself, whereas I become capable of taking responsibilities, individual, familial, and societal responsibilities. So, then after 25, so till then it is self constrained, it is not about external constraints coming on us, but it is my choice that my focus is studying, learning, developing skills and knowledge, and then probably comes Grihasthashram. So that self control is a beautiful choice, in fact, saving our energy, directing it, focusing it. And then the next 25 years are about taking responsibilities of the generation behind us and creating a new generation, empowering them, inspiring them, at the same time enjoying our life. These days I am also a counselor, so I happen to meet people of different ages. And so, as you mentioned, this midlife crisis these days, husband wife relationships are also getting strained. Too many issues are coming in. So the very concept of marriage and love was hijacked by Bollywood. The fundamental understanding about it, the purpose of it, somewhere is not understood. And then the whole game of expectations and frustrations and things begin. So happiness will follow, happiness will be there in Grihasthashram, but it is not through one single resource, that is my spouse. If we think that that is the one single resource to satisfy all my needs, then there is going to be a problem. So trying to understand Grihasthashram is also a very unique concept which comes. And then, of course, the next is Vanaprasthashram. That is, when I get daughter-in-law, son-in-law, when the new generation is starting their life, or maybe even after 50s when kids are out to college, let us again rejuvenate ourselves, align more with the larger goals. Sometimes it is the society, community, sometimes it is the spiritual goal, or all put together and aligned well. So, a new direction. So, midlife is not a time of crisis, it is a time of awakening. It is a time of getting to know more opportunities, and then, able to do things which we were not able to do because we were engaged into fulfilling other duties. And physically also getting back and regaining our health and strength. And so that's a very beautiful spot in life where Sanskrit has this beautiful word called simhavalokan. So as the lion walks, after few steps, he looks back. He looks around what is happening, anybody is following, what is there, and then again he'll look in the front and walk. So that is called simhavalokan. That is how a lion takes a pause, looks back, and then takes a leap. So midlife is that juncture in life that it's a very beautiful space. That some of the goals are already fulfilled, some of them are there, but we are more empowered economically, physically. So yeah, I mean, every stage in life is beautiful if we take it like that. Even old age is beautiful. But I think youth is overstated. People think that youth is the best time of life of happiness, and now that youth is declining, all that happiness is gone. In fact, see, there is a lot of stress in youth. Children have to go ahead and give their SATs, and then if they have to give their entrance exams as MCAT and whatnot, engineering, law, everything, and they have to think about their career, they have to choose their spouse. So many decisions have to be taken in that period. And if we look at them these days, I feel youths are really stressed about too many things. And that is how the social structure has been created. So, yeah, I mean, that age also has their own challenges. So, midlife is also having some challenges, but I still feel it's a better place.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like you mentioned, realign. re energize and recreate something very positive. That is the message for the midlife, I think. But yes, youth does have a lot of problems. But I have a very interesting question from one of our very ardent fans. So, the Upanishads often emphasize harmony, self realization, and the interconnectedness of life. How can these teachings be applied to strengthen family bonds and nurture well being in today's world where the families face tremendous pressures from social media, from work stress, and the shifting roles between the mother and father itself?
Yeah, let us start with the shifting roles first, because that is the main issue happening in the family relationships. So it's a generation, a transition is happening since a generation behind us. For all those who are in their now maybe 60s and 70s, that generation, and then this generation who are in their 40s and 50s. So they are into this transition phase. The roles are shifting. And as we see our children now going forward, so as we see this new generation moving ahead, the transition is halfway happened and halfway yet to happen. So transition also creates some amount of confusion because the roles are changing, expectations are changing, and we don't have role models. Human beings basically learn from their role models. So if my son is seeing that his father is also working in the house, doing chores, helping my mom, and my mom is also into her career, and both together are doing it wonderfully. They are amazing team. They are respecting each other, they are loving each other, they are also enjoying together. Then I have this role model. But if I don't have this role model, I feel that my mom is always busy working, managing her office, managing her house, managing her kids, and she's not that well respected. And even if she is respected, my parents are not enjoying together. See, children need to see that their parents are enjoying together. Then they would want to get married. But today I see many youths coming to me and they're saying, we don't want to get married. It's not a happy thing. Why? Because they have not seen happy marriages. That confidence is not coming for commitment. Some say that we don't want children. Why? Because these girls have seen their moms toiling, running behind the kids and also managing the office stuff and things. So it's easy that no, I don't want to get into that. So this role modeling is not happening because we are in the transition field. So now when coming to our ancient wisdom, it could be Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, whatever philosophy they are telling, there are two main things of it. One is realize the divinity within. So it doesn't stop there. If I am divine, even you are divine. Everybody is divine. So automatically this mutual respect, love, empathy follows from it. So we are talking about a philosophy which talks about oneness. So if we are not different potentially, we all are same, one and the same thing, then focus on that oneness, focus on that we space. So husband wife also, if they are not in this we space, if they are in this I space, aham, I am this, you are this, I did this, you do this, I said this, you said this. So it's all about I and you. But if we can create this space where we comes in, then the children are also able to see that. And they also get included in that we space. The we space becomes bigger when we also include our family and friends, extended family and friends, so that we becomes bigger. Then we include the wider community, our country, nation, civilization. So expansion is knowledge and contraction is ignorance. So in family, if we understand this concept, that if we can expand our awareness, expand our love, expand the sense of duty. But now there is a question again, in this selfish world, when everybody is exploiting others, in this corporate world, when everybody is trying to climb the ladder, do you think all this philosophy will work? This is a common question which people ask. So I would say that it helps. In fact, we are so peaceful within that we become more dynamic externally. Less time, we do more work. With less effects, we are more creative. So when the performance is good and you are peaceful from within, it builds strength. So these children look different from other children. These personalities they shine better. They inspire more. And then automatically they are moving towards leadership. People want to follow. See, people want to associate with success and happiness and love. If these three things are there within a person, people are automatically attracted. They will automatically follow. So, our philosophy basically, if rightly understood, can create leaders, which is missing in our community because we are into that colonized mindset. We look up to the West, we look up to the Western heroes, but we don't look up to the heroes who were enriched from within and who inspired and ruled rather than exploiting and ruling. This is a fundamental difference between the Indian economy and the Western economy, the Indian politics. Not today's, I would say, but the understanding of Arthashastra, as Kautilya said, understanding it from the Upanishadic perspective, it is more of a stronger thought and it is more inclusive. Power shouldn't create exclusion, power shouldn't be exploitative, but it has to be more sustainable and inclusive. So, see, all these thoughts can be penetrated down to the corporate, to the economic world, to the trade, to business, to all sorts of karma that we do. So, it just needs to be aligned, connected. So, more and more people come forward to learn about our wisdom and things. They will be able to build bridges into whichever field they are. So, I think then in that sense, there is a lot of hope. But the need is we need to spread this more and more.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I think in that sense, the YouTube channel that you have started is doing an amazing work. More and more people, I think, are today out there with their shorts and reels to to propagate the wisdom of from Sanatana Dharma. I would like to move to the womanhood aspect. I think
Mhm.
this would be very interesting for many women and girls listening. So I think we're all in a very similar place. So juggling multiple roles as a mother, as a daughter, as a wife, as a mother, and then as a leader, and we're all unsure of how to set priorities.
Mm.
You have lived through those crossroads yourself, traveling through all of these roles. Could you share a story from your own life when you had to pause and make a tough choice about what mattered the most and how that decision has shaped your journey today as a woman leader?
Mhm. Um, I think adaptability and flexibility is something which really helps as a woman, I would say. It helps everybody. But specifically, as we are talking in terms of woman roles, I would say. So initially, I started my career as a lecturer and I was in Pune. I was teaching in the college. And then at a particular time when my kids were, and I was continuing doing that, but when my second child was very young, just born, there was a transfer of for my husband, he got transferred to Bengaluru. And so from Pune, we moved to Bengaluru. And this, my younger child was just 1.5 years old. And the place where we stayed, from there, the university was far away. And with the Bangalore traffic, it was almost 2 hours commute, going 2 hours, coming 2 hours. So teaching wasn't going to, I mean, it was not going to be possible with that amount of commutation. In addition to that, my husband was traveling a lot. So I was the one anchor in the house and I had to be that. So I had to take a back step at that point. But then I decided that teaching academically is one route. Then I said, let me do something else. And there I moved from teaching into corporate trainings and then counseling. So in that transition period, I completed my second master's in psychotherapy and counseling. So then I was equipped to bring in the wisdom of philosophy into practical application and deliver it to the corporate world as well as to the family and other issues. Counseling and corporate training became the area of work. And today I would say that has actually enriched me a lot. Otherwise, I would have just continued to be a lecturer in the university. But this really helped me. It helped my growth, understanding the society in much better way, developing the skills to deliver concepts. So adaptability and flexibility really works. Now then the second phase was when I came to US. So again, this was a new country with new culture, new environment. I kept my counseling going. Thanks to the online possibilities that are there through Zoom and all, I continued my counseling thing. But eventually, I went into creating my own institute, Purna Jagruti, conducting workshops and things. So always take it as a new game. And the second thing which has helped me, I feel, is, as a woman, never compare yourself with anybody else. A boy would never have to take, a men would never have to take these kinds of gaps in between. With children being young, sometimes how many men really get transferred along with their women, with their wives? Women often they go along with their husbands when they are transferred. So these are certain things. We don't have to fight every time for the change, but see an opportunity in that and be confident. But at the same time, I feel that never compare ourselves with anybody else because everybody has their own journey. And it's just that, am I staying aligned to my internal values and aspirations is what is important. And ultimately, it's not the post that you get, the ladder that you climb, the money that you earn. These are important, but they cannot be the sole parameters of success. How has my children really grown? I feel emotionally, if they are stable, if intellectually they have grown well, they are confident, they are fearless. It's a big job. Sometimes, it is sad to see that some working women look down upon the women who are not working, who are homemakers. Leave aside men looking down. Within women also, this needs to be realized. And empowerment of women is not imitating men. So when we help our girls to grow, we should help them to empower them and realize their potential. They have some unique capacities and they should become aware of that rather than making them boys into girls' bodies. You know, sometimes it happens that, ये हमारा घर का बेटा है. So the girls tell proudly, my father used to say that I am the son of the family. You needn't have to become a son of the family. You can be the daughter of the family and uniquely contribute. So this confidence has to be there. And I feel that spiritually being a woman, you're on the better side. There are better opportunities to grow spiritually, grow from within. I don't underestimate men for that, but I would say this again, we have better opportunities to grow spiritually. So as a woman, I think embrace womanhood. It is Shakti, it is power, it comes with empathy, it comes with resilience, it comes with confidence, and the leadership that comes from womanhood is much stronger leadership. There is, if woman really comes to become a good leader, she's not an insecure leader. A secure leader can do better things. For that, we have to understand womanhood in its right sense, help our girls to understand that. And I think then the journey becomes very inspiring. So if I can inspire myself, then there is a possibility that somebody else also can be inspired. If I love myself, if I enjoy my company, if I feel I'm doing right, then that itself gives so much of peace and happiness, even develops power. But if we keep looking up to other people, whether they appreciate me or not, whether they understand me or not, whether they acknowledge me or not, whether they realize who I am or not, then we are depending on them. Mm. So rather than depending on others, we have to be self sufficient in this sense. So, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually, if we are growing, I would like to take birth as a woman again and again until I reach moksha.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I really love that when we embrace our Shakti as
Yes.
leaders, we operate from a strength of confidence, clarity, and compassion. Therefore, we are able to be
And
better leaders.
so much of grace. A woman can add grace to whichever field she is. So,
Absolutely.
these days, even today, women are adjusting to the men, the world created by men. The moment there is a time in future where the world is also designed by women, society will be a different place to live, provided women stop imitating men
Mm.
and they realize themselves.
Yeah.
It's not about
Embrace embrace the power within is what I normally say. So
yes.
I you have
That's so
beautifully explained that. In
true.
fact, I say empower is embrace the woman in you,
Yes.
prepare relentlessly for success, and tap into the power within. That's my abbreviation for empower.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. So you once said that success isn't just about external achievements; it's also about inner growth. Now, as a family woman and as a leader, how do you personally define success and what traits have helped you succeed in multiple roles?
Success is, I think, aligning my behavior with my inner values, basically. If there is no dissonance, then I feel that is success. Because if I say something and if I behave in the opposite way, then there is this dissonance is there and no connection is there. Then that will bring me down internally. It will bring down my confidence. It will bring down my happiness because facade doesn't stay for long. Only truth stays. And this integrity and honesty with one's own self, I think that keeps us going. That builds confidence. And no fear to accept sometimes if I go wrong, I can say, yes, I went wrong. At the same time, if somebody appreciates, take it. Women have this habit. If you say look at somebody and say, wow, you're beautiful. Say, no, 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 I'm not. Why? Take it. Somebody says you have achieved so much. Say thank you and tell them that, yeah, it's still, I'm in the process. Some things I have achieved, some things I need to achieve. So it's not about perfection, it is about the journey. So women have to take this also. And I think that way, yeah, it builds that confidence and becomes easier.
Yeah,
And in
but
the, yeah, sorry.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
tell me.
And I was just saying the family also, when the parameters of success need to be set. If when I'm doing parenting with my children, I need to tell them that don't compete with your peers, compete with yourself. That is success. So if I'm a better version of myself than I was yesterday, then you are successful. And enjoy the success every day. Then enjoy the process of knowledge. So I know better than I knew yesterday. Then I think, yes, I'm in the growth process. So then the material success is a side effect. That is not the primary goal. But believe me, that happens. The child who is self competing, parents have never to, they never have to worry about it. The child will automatically keep competing with itself and it will excel. That is the child is on the autopilot mode. But if we tell the child to look at somebody and compete, that is dependency. That will bring comparison, hatred, jealousy, all those things will come in. So I think in the family also, if we keep this environment and economic prosperity, I would say, is a requirement. It is a duty. So both husband and wife, as and as when possible, they have to. It is good to be economically prosperous. Nothing to be ashamed about it. Sometimes people say that I am good, I am this, but money wise, we are not into money. No, you have to be. Earn money through good ways, through dharma. It is to be achieved. And same concept if it goes to the children also in the family, then they also enjoy prosperity. But due to some reasons, if we are not as prosperous as we would have aspired to be, even then, our happiness doesn't depend on prosperity. It is a tool. So, if these thoughts come into family, and especially with Indian families, I would say that we have a Hindu religion in our house, but it shouldn't be confined to just rituals and festivities. It has to be more than that. We have to bring in philosophy. When philosophy comes in, then it stays with us. Otherwise, the outside world today, there are so many distractions, so many narratives being played in the schools, in the colleges, through the entertainment world, everywhere, that there are always challenges. So, more our child is clear about the philosophy, it is going to be able to sustain itself. At the same time, it will also be able to defeat if something wrong is happening around. So I feel this is the need of the time, that Hindu wisdom, Hindu philosophy has to be taught back in Bharat and here, wherever we are. So I think that is a big thing which needs to be taken up by all the families. And therefore, I thought of working in this area of Hindu parenting. So it is not just about the Satyanarayan Puja or the Diwali party or the Ganesh Chaturthi. It's much deeper than that. So how that can be built from the childhood at different age groups. So many people are also coming in and they are also working in this area. We are seeing now there is awareness happening. It's a
Yeah.
happy conversation. Yeah.
Yes, yes. There's a lot of awareness, and
Yes.
it's a good time.
Yeah.
But whatever we may talk about, whatever philosophies we learn, oftentimes we also have the trigunas, right? So that's a different topic for that's a topic for another day. But I would like to specifically address a certain point about leadership is also about emotions, about doubts, about energy. How do
Mm.
you handle self doubts or the dissidents who resist your vision or your purpose? And what practices like meditation or mindfulness or yoga, what is it that you do to help you stay balanced emotionally? I mean, can you suggest some daily practices from our scriptures that would help us all handle these energies or emotions effectively, especially the self doubt?
So basically, I have been into yoga since my childhood. So this practice of doing yoga abhyas every day has been with me for decades now. So it has immensely helped me to stay physically fit. Secondly, as a family, we always were an adventurous family because we did a lot of hiking and trekking, going into the nature, connecting with nature. This is an important tool to build our emotional and physical resilience, at the same time stay spiritually connected. So being with the nature, going out into the nature. In USA we have national parks, so that's an amazing thing. I really like it so much that anytime we can, whenever it is possible, if we can go out into the nature, that's good. Apart from that, Surya Namaskar and other yoga abhyas is also very important. This can be a routine part of it. And then I would say diet. To have a wholesome diet where diet is giving more life energy. So vegetarian diet has more life energy from that perspective. Even if you are not a strict vegetarian, but consume more and more vegetables, fruits, and leafy things, and to have a balanced diet is equally important. So, on from the physical level, diet and exercise, yoga abhyas is important. For the emotional stability, I would say pranayam really helps. Omkar, pranayam, it really helps. I'm not saying breathing exercise because pranayam is much more than breathing exercise. Pranayam is a bridge which connects us to meditation, to our inner self. So, from pranayam, we can easily move to meditation. So the different types of meditations are there, but a meditation which takes you more closer to yourself, ourself inwardly. Internally, we connect with ourselves rather than focusing outside. So concentration is different, meditation is different. So initially, though, concentration is also required because sthira sukham asanam that is a definition of asana. So to be able to sit in a particular asana for some time, then only that asana becomes siddha. That is, we acquire that asana in that sense. So that is also extended to later pranayam aspect of it. So learning yoga abhyas is a very important and helpful thing. I think that has kept me going through all these things. And then meditation, of course. And apart from this, when it comes to self doubt, as you mentioned, that as a woman, we are not isolated, but we are part of this whole system, part of the society, family, extended family. And we see that in women, there is more self doubt, less of self confidence, less of explaining, sorry, more of explaining. We explain more when it is not required. So, all these things are there, which as we grow, eventually we have to learn to observe these things within us and then change them as and when possible, because practically we are not growing up in isolation. We are part of the system that is existing, and this system has its own pros and cons. So if it's raining outside and you want to walk even with a raincoat, you're going to be wet to some extent. So no one can say that I'm not affected by the social and other things happening around me. But we need to identify, become aware of that, and try to change it as much as possible. And lastly, I would say that being a woman mm, is also a role. So don't think yourself to be a woman only. Woman itself is a very nice role, divine role. It is Shakti, but also think about Purusha, that is Brahman. So where even body is a limited identity. So to have that spiritual alignment gives lot of power. Because if we are aligned to that thought, then all problems appear small and transient. Then they don't overwhelm us, but we want to navigate through them. So then it becomes relatively easier. So I feel this alignment has to be with us, no matter if you are a woman or a man. But this alignment really helps. So that keeps us going. And the purpose behind our work, if we are sure that I want to do this and I'm clear about the outcomes and things. See, we are not here to change the world. People often ask me, you're a counselor, you're a teacher. Can you change people? Nobody can change people. What we can do is we can change ourselves as much as possible and then spread awareness and inspire others. But it's the choice of other people whether they want to accept it or not. So inspiring is only possible. That too not in all cases. When there is willingness on the other side. So yeah, there are so many things to it. And lastly, I would say that our happiness shouldn't be dependent on external things. That doesn't mean we shouldn't be happy in small things. We need to be happy in everything that we are doing. It doesn't mean that being spiritual, you're not happy wearing a good sari, you're not happy going to a film, you're not happy. No, no, be happy in everything that you do. So it has to be other way. Find happiness in everything. Yeah. So I think once we have that approach, life becomes easy.
Yeah. Life is a lot of happiness, but it comes in small packets, I think. So
And it is
embrace
so fun.
everything with joy.
Joy, joy. And it
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a sinusoidal curve, and we need to be there and enjoy the roller coaster ride. Um,
ah, yes.
uh, I mean, looking ahead, what are your future plans and aspirations, both personally and for the institutions or the initiatives that you lead?
As of now, I feel that I need to do some more workshops, write few more books, and do more videos in my YouTube channel. And as I'm associated with HUA, I would want to really contribute more and more as much as possible in creating good programs, creating and designing workshops and courses that will really help people be part of a good journey, because I think their vision is very good, which aligns with my vision also. So yeah, and through it's the same thing about my own institute also, Purna Jagruti. I try to connect more with women and in the social atmosphere outside, create workshops for small children, even to the senior citizens, different age groups, so that I keep doing that. So, and then in the larger perspective, if I can be more stable each day as I go ahead, if I can stay more at peace than I was I was yesterday, then that is my spiritual personal goal, which goes into that. If everything stays aligned, I think, then it's good. So it's not seeking happiness, but it is being peaceful. So
Mm,
happiness is a side effect. It happens.
lovely. Lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, I mean, like all good things do have to come to an end, and so should our conversation. So, I would like to conclude it with some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, what's the first question you ask yourself when you are planning a new initiative?
How can I contribute in a unique way?
Do you rely more on data, your intuition, or philosophy when making strategic decisions?
All three,
All
all
three.
three, all three. Yeah.
What is the one impact you created that brings you maximum joy?
Mm, as a
Or that
mom,
brought you joy? Sorry, that brought you joy.
I feel that
Hmm.
my children are spiritually inclined, stable, and they appreciate the philosophy. That brings me a lot of joy and happiness. And so that is something I feel is what I have really, as a mom, I feel that is very close to me. And if I am successful there, probably I can extend that impact outside. That gives me confidence. So, and I feel I'm blessed with good children. It's not me actually, but it's been a teamwork. We are just blessed with good children.
Lovely, lovely. You did mention the positive impacts of having women in an leadership role in organizations. How could we calculate this positive impact or impacts?
In all those organizations where women are working, I mean, yes, there are so many surveys done and research is being done, and how women impact. I still feel the major impact is there is a very slight shift from men centric systems to men and women centric systems. This systemic change has to still happen, but at least there is a beginning. So, see, for a woman, there shouldn't be a situation that either she has to do her career or she has to take care of her family. It has to be an and relation. Now, when it is an and relation for her, it also has to be an and relation for a man. So, this is more of a joint leadership. It's not about one hierarchical leadership which comes from top to down, but this is more of an joint leadership. So I feel if the society proceeds on in this direction, that would be an women impact, because more and more women are coming into all the fields. Eventually, this need will be established, though it is in the initial stages and phases as of now. But the moment society realizes that both of them are not being able to give time and energy to their family is creating problem in the society, then the system will have to change, where both can be part of the workforce. At the same time, they can spend their time and energy with the family, because only then society can sustain. But if this change really propels, I would say, the women impact across the world, wherever it is happening, a mother can bring this impact, because the need of the child for its mother and father, we are not just providers, we need to be inspirers. So if we are to inspire our children, then we need to be much more than what we are now. So
Yeah.
that space and energy should be left with the moms, with the fathers. Be a huge systemic change across organizations, corporates, and politics, and everywhere. Even now, I don't see much of recognition about this, much of awareness about this. But I'm not very negative about it. I'm hopeful because as more and more women will come into it, eventually it will happen.
Beautiful. So, what is one mindset shift that has helped you embrace uncertainty?
Philosophically, it says that this whole world is uncertain. Period. Let us understand this world is uncertain. Nothing is going to be static. So it's okay. I mean, if everything is changing, then good times are also bound to change. Bad times are also going to change. I think this mindset helps because that is asatoma sadgamaya. That is vivek. Coming back to our earlier discussion, that we're able to understand what is unreal and what is real. All that is changing, comes with an expiry date. Situations, relations, people, everything. It is good, but we just have to be aware that this may change. Change is not fearful. It's just part of life.
So, the Viveka is the ultimate panacea for everything.
Yeah. Well,
So, if you could leave every woman listening to this podcast with one timeless teaching, either from the Gita or from the Upanishads or from your own life, what would it be?
specifically, if it's for the woman, I would say know yourself and love yourself. If a woman
Wonderful.
loves herself, she will not be dependent on anybody and she will have all her power with her. And if she loves herself, she'll automatically love others also. Then she will inspire also. So, first know yourself and love yourself.
This is also in line with one of the earlier guests we had, Dr. Sweta Adatia. She also
Mm.
mentioned that women should have self-love.
Yes.
So that's very, very important. And thank you so much, Kalika ji, for this amazing conversation. Lots of wisdom shared with us. And I hope people take this up in a positive way and try to implement one or two aspects also, I think would be really helpful for them. Thank you so much for being on this show.
Thank you so much, Maltiji, for having me here. And speaking to you was an amazing experience. The way you conducted the whole discussion. Thank you so much. And this was really a wonderful experience. I'm honored.
Thank, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today on the Impressive Empress podcast. If this conversation inspired you, share it with another woman who's ready to lead with purpose. And please follow the show and leave a rating and review. It really helps us reach more women leaders. You can also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn for more empowering stories and insights. Until the next time, stay curious, stay courageous, and keep creating impact.